Conversation by Tim Leonard. Characters: Jeff, a blues musician in his late 60s. Stephen, a podcaster in his 40s or younger. Summary: a podcaster, Stephen, is thrilled to interview one of his idols, a veteran blues musician, Jeff. The interview doesn't go as Stephen had hoped, as his interlocutor is grumpy and suspicious. Eventually they do find common ground, and Jeff ends up saving Stephen from complete disaster. Scene: a kitchen or simple room. A kitchen table or similar is at center stage. Chairs are at the right and left sides of the table, leaving the front and back sides open at rise. Stephen is seated stage right at a table with a laptop in front of him. Facing him is Jeff, stage left. Jeff has a microphone in front of him, and there are a pair of headphones on the table. There can be other miscellaneous items on the table, like mugs or magazines or a folder, writing pad, or a book. Jeff, annoying.
So you've been playing, so you've been taping this whole time?
Yeah, I mean, there's no whole time. You came in and, I don't know, we talked about the construction on 44 and the mics I used. At some point, I think when you sat down, I started recording, and here we are.
You didn't tell me.
You get self-conscious if you say, now we're starting, go. I don't want it to be an interview.
Huh?
It's why the show is called The Conversation. The listener should feel like they're right here, just hanging with us.
You got the recording in there?
Yeah, it's an audio file, which I'll edit.
I don't want my words getting twisted around.
Jeff takes out his phone and starts poking at it while Stephen talks.
Think of it like radio. The producer takes the interview and cuts it down to the length they need. Same thing here, but there's no time constraint. We're not bumping up against the news or going to station break.
So this could go on forever.
Jeff puts his phone down.
Theoretically, it's just that a podcast is more flexible.
Seems like you can alter things with the internet.
I just want to talk about the blues, how you got into it, your music career, maybe some of the people you played with. I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
I guess.
Anyway, so growing up, was there music in the house?
The typical stuff on the radio, some records here and there. My mom liked music.
Did that inspire you at all?
Nah. They had some good players, but seemed like they were a little corny to me.
So you were kind of rebelling against that.
I didn't really care, but if you see it that way,
Oh no, I don't see it in a particular way. Just wondering what sparked your interest. What was your first guitar?
I don't know. People have asked me that before. Doesn't matter. I don't have a fetish for physical things. It's all the same as long as it gets 6 strings and plays.
Okay, so you got a guitar of some kind. Any early memories?
Our cat Coco biting me.
Oh, I was thinking about with the guitar, but you had a cat. I guess that didn't work out too well.
That was fine. I'm sure I deserved it. Pulling its tail or something. I got one now. Leo's his name.
So just you and the cat. That sounds like it could be a blues song right there. You're divorced, right?
Yeah, but I told you in the email, I'm not discussing personal stuff.
Of course, of course. Get back to, what kind of bands or singers did you like growing up?
Early rock and roll. Then the British invasion.
Did you watch the Beatles on Ed Sullivan in '64? I've heard that every kid back then saw that show and wanted to start a band the next day.
I missed it. I think we were just at a hockey game. I was more of a Stones and Yardbirds fan anyway.
Awesome. And that got you into the blues?
Well, the blues got into me.
It got into you, really. Would you say you were like a vessel for music?
Nah, just something I did.
But you've been pretty serious about it. You've done, I don't know how many albums, and you must have played thousands of gigs by now.
Yep,
When did you first take up the guitar?
it took me up.
Right, it took you up. That sounds like the blues getting into you. You were ready.
Just what I wanted to do. Could have been something else.
Like what?
Well, I could have been a gearhead like my brother, or being a cowboy, who knows?
Right, but you chose music, or it chose you.
Yep.
I guess the question is why?
Pause, Jeff shrugs.
This is audio, so a gesture is not going to communicate. Anyway, I guess you're saying it's a mystery why you became so fascinated with the blues.
I don't know if it's exactly mysterious.
Gestures with his hands, mockingly like an ooh, scary motions.
Any bands you listen to these days?
Don't listen to that much new stuff.
Who are your old favorites?
Muddy Waters, Howling Wolf.
Of course, the greats. Do you think the blues are dying?
People always say that. I'm still here.
I didn't mean to. Just that some people feel that blues and jazz, that they're no longer relevant, that young people.
They can go to hell.
Sure, do you feel that perhaps appreciation for this unique American art form has diminished?
I don't know if it has or hasn't.
Well, maybe we can talk about your style of play.
I only discuss that with fellow musicians.
I'm sure some of them will be listening.
So when's this going to air?
I'll probably put it up sometime later this week.
How will people know when it's on?
It's not broadcast live, so it doesn't really matter. Listeners can get it when they want.
How do they find it?
You could search for it, but typically people subscribe, and when a new episode drops, it shows up on your podcast app. See? There it is, the conversation.
You make a lot of money off this?
Nothing so far.
You're not getting paid to do this?
No, it's my show. Nobody's paying me.
So you do it for free?
Yeah, the plan down the line is to get sponsors, but I need to build a listenership first.
Is that hard?
Yeah, it's not like I have a name from some other field and my audience is going to follow me. I'm trying to build this from the ground up.
Never easy to break in.
I should have got into this years ago when I was starting out. Now everyone has dozens of shows in their feed. What do they need another for? I went to a podcasting convention and one of their tips was to be a guest on other people's podcasts. So I'm trying to get people to listen to my show, and I'm going on other shows that nobody's listening to either.
It's like these guys spraying their songs all over the internet, hoping somebody's listening.
Exactly. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because you could have a dynamite conversation, and who would even know? It's like my episode with Mary Klempo, the poet. Heard of her? Probably not. Doesn't matter. Who knows poets, right? Anyway, she was telling me about the seaweed farm she used to run, and this bunch of linked poems of hers called the Manitoba series. They're about a Zamboni driver in Winnipeg who has lots of cats. Anyway, we had this great talk, and like 8 people listened. I was plugging it like a maniac, and it took me forever to get it all edited and put it together, and then nobody listens. On social media, everyone clicks like when I announce an episode. If you like it so much, then listen, right?
I play some empty clubs myself. Just as much work to play to 8 people as it is 800.
That's the truth.
So what motivates you?
I like to learn what makes creative people tick and share it with others. Of course, if nobody listens.
I know what you mean. I'm a goddamn local legend, or so everybody says, and I'm playing to like a quarter of the people I used to.
Really? That's a shame. You're better than ever.
You know how many benefits I do? Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to do a gig to help with somebody's medical bills, and I always play that concert for the disabled kids camp. But then there's the show to support music in schools, and saving the Rialto Theater, and the Beast Ball for the animal shelter, and so on. I play all these free shows, right? And then when I do a paying gig, people are like, what, $25 for this guy? I just saw him last month in that benefit for the salamanders. Don't need to see him again. I love to give back, but sometimes I gotta get paid too, right? Am I wrong?
Not at all.
You know how this is gonna end? I'll get some disease, or be totally down and out, and they'll have to do a benefit for me.
Everybody wants something for nothing.
This guy approaches me last year, wanted me to do a cable series for free, of course. He said it would be a great exposure. My first paying gig was almost 50 years ago. What does he think I've been doing all this time?
You're not serious. That's criminal. He should be exposed for the cheap bastard that he is.
I almost did it too. Then last minute, I'm like, no, I can't. If this guy was a real fan of the music, maybe I think he was just trying to finagle some deal.
Show a little respect, right?
Exactly, for the music. So why did you ask me to come film the show?
I'm a big fan. Plus, if you get decent guests, maybe their fans listen and like the show, and then they'll come back no matter who you have on.
Like Colbert. He's a funny guy.
I'm thinking more along the lines of Mark Moran or Terry Gross, but yeah,
I'm gonna wait for you to boost your ratings.
yeah, not that you're going to exactly, I wanted to talk to you anyway. This gave me an excuse. I couldn't just call you up and say, hey, I'm Steven, you don't know me, you wanna come over? I thought about approaching you after a show, but if you're with your band, you don't wanna talk to some lame fan.
Lame fans are what keeps me going. I appreciate anyone who comes out.
Thanks for doing this. It might be the last one, that's why I went for a broken, asked if you'd come on.
Why would this be the last one?
Look how this went. Why would somebody want to listen? I asked you a bunch of questions and you obviously didn't want to answer. Plus I got us off on the wrong foot by starting recording without telling you. I heard it was a good strategy. I wasn't trying to pull something over.
I didn't mean to give you a hard time, but I don't know what you were up to. I kind of get it now. I got taken by a guy I invested with in a blues club. And ever since, I don't trust the people.
I feel like I asked the right questions, but then it doesn't develop into the kind of conversation I'd like. Maybe I don't establish a good rapport, or I'm too quick to move on. Sometimes you gotta sit with silence, but that's not exactly compelling radio or podcasting. I should have done that, just waited it out a bit. People will fill a lull, and I could edit it out, the silence. What happened to the Blues Club?
The concept was a scaled-down version of B.B. King's. Idea was that I'd play there occasionally, do a jam session every couple of weeks. We'd produce shows, bring some touring people in, maybe have a night for up-and-comers. I thought it could be something really special for blues music in the area.
Sounds awesome. What happened?
Never got it off the ground. The guy I partnered with had no idea what he was doing. My money's gone. Some of the dough went up his nose, and he was moving money out of the business into his own account. I never talked about this publicly. It's embarrassing. Plus, I was hoping I'd recover something. The guy's a deadbeat, though. I told my lawyer to pack it in. We're not getting anything out of him.
That sucks. I would be at that club. I would be at a club like that all the time. What an asshole.
I should have paid closer attention. I got caught up in the fantasy. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't ask, is this a viable venture? Is this guy I'm working with reliable? I thought he had it under control. He did not. The song on the last album that nobody bought, Double Tongue. That's about him.
Now it makes sense. I was thinking, double tongue. Double tongue. That was about some generic guy, but now I get it. I don't want you in my club, but I want my money back. Double tongue. I didn't know the club was literally a club.
You know your stuff or my stuff anyway. At least I got a good tune out of it.
So when you're writing a song, is there a riff you're thinking of, and then you put words around it? Or you write some lyrics and then come up with a tune?
I don't have a system. In this case, I was just thinking of that biblical phrase, a double or forked tongue, and the ability of language to conceal, for it to be used duplicitously, and connecting that with my own experience.
That's cool. I don't know if you meant it that way, but it's almost a callback to an old song of yours. I think it was on your second album.
Steven looks down at his laptop, squinting, concerned.
What the? Oh, Christ. Oh, my God.
Puts his head down and holds it in his hands, then looks up.
Ugh.
Problem?
I thought I was recording, but turns out I wasn't. I got nothing. Zero. I can't even say that this is the final episode of the conversation because it doesn't exist. Maybe it's for the best considering how things went.
We got going on a couple of topics.
I guess not that it matters.
Hey, so all's not lost.
Seems pretty lost to me.
Not necessarily. I've been taping this myself.
What?
Picks up his phone from the desk.
I figured I'd make my own recording. That way, if you tried to mess with anything, I'd have a backup.
You got all this?
Pretty much. Maybe I'll podcast it myself. You can give me some tips.
You're going to put it out. I don't think the audio will be of sufficient quality.
Don't worry, my sound engineer, Don, is a wizard. We've given him some horrible stuff, and he's cleaned it up nice.
So you'll just...
I won't steal the good thunder. I know this is your deal. Maybe I'll give you the recording, or we'll both put it out.
Both of us?
Is that not allowed?
I don't see why not.
Look, I'll promote it and you'll promote it. And maybe we'll get a few listeners. Scratch each other's back.
Sure. I still can't believe you have a recording.
Jeff pulls up his phone.
Okay, hold on. Let me do the closing. This has been The Conversation, an ongoing discussion about the arts with the artists that make it happen.
Very professional. I need a name for my show. How about Talkin' Blues?
Yeah, that's what we did, right?
Yep.
Jeff gets up from his chair, starts to head off stage.
I'll be in touch when Don's worked his magic.
Thanks for everything.
Not at all. I enjoyed our conversation.
The end.
Alrighty.